Alright everybody, welcome back to AI Collectibles. I want to give a special shout out to eCollectibles in Canada for getting me these, as I am in Canada. It is the first run of Leonardo, and then I got the second run Raphael. So I'm going to open these guys up and show you what they have and my impressions on them. But first I just wanted to show you what the outside boxes look like. And these are what the figure boxes look like inside. When you open up the brown boxes, they have a nice green color to them. And then the backs have a nice Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle sign. And these just slip right off. You get a little blurb on the back of each turtle. So Raphael is the hothead and most opinionated, impulsive, and restless Ninja Turtle. Raphael loves nothing more than to test himself in battle and trains for sheer enjoyment. He usually the one to leap into action, and is nearly impossible to get him to back down. So that's the back, and then you get the nice window box here. I've already taken the figures out, so close that up. And then we got Leo as well. And same thing. Leonardo, the battle commander for the Turtles. Like his Florentine namesake, Leonardo is the perfect turtle. In the lidless eyes of his allies, he is known as the unofficial commander of the Turtle and Splinter's star pupil. Because of his keen eyesight and sensitive hearing, Leonardo is extremely well balanced, which makes him more skillful when wielding his ever-flashing katana blades. No matter how dangerous the situation, Leo doesn't mind sticking his neck out. His primary objective in life: cut Shredder down to size. Alright, so here's the turtles in front of you, laid out with their accessories. I only pulled out the accessories the accessories of one figure that were duplicate for both. So what I'm going to do is show you what they got here, and they come with quite a plethora of accessories actually. So we'll start with Leo's katanas, which are really nicely painted, have a nice gold finish there on the handle and brown around the wrappings, and the blades have like a nice kind of steel shiny paint on them, which carries over to the other weapons also. So they do have a nice paint. The only thing I don't like is those edges aren't very clean on some of them. And then we got the ninja stars, which are also very nicely painted with that silver paint. And you get 2 of those per turtle. This is also a reuse between the turtles. Some nice paint apps there. And another weapon. Again, both come with this. And the slice of pizza, which is pretty cool. Pretty simple painted. Like not a lot of texture and stuff where the cheese is. But you get like that dripping effect, which is pretty cool. Now they're communicators, which are the same, but not the same. As you can see, they have different paint apps, and Raph's has the red on there like his bandana, where Leo's has the more traditional colors. And same with their closed communicators. Oop, drop that one. Sorry, got big fingers. Now with Raph, he comes with his size attached to him, which just have like a matte finish paint on them, if they're even painted at all actually. This might just be the color that it's casted in, and the handle painted black. And then he comes with another set in the package that are painted, have that silver paint, same as the rest of the weapons. And they each come with the exact same hands, just painted differently with their, to match the color that they come in. And they do have some nice details, but what I'm not liking and what I found, the same with the Super 7 Ren and Stimpy that I have, is that they have these lines, like the molded lines in them, which I am not a huge fan of. And then comes with 2 grasping hands. Oh wait, no, these ones are so he can grab his thigh, but Leo comes with them too, so that's so his thigh can feed through there. And then he has 2 regular grasping ones. And what I also really like is how they gave him these like punch out weapons like the old traditional turtles came with when you were a kid, which is really neat. It's a nice touch. And then the same as Leo's, comes with his katanas, and again, like the same weapons that they traditionally came with, right? And then we have the extra head sculpts, which are also pretty cool. These are more of like a, oh, I dropped him. These are more of a like traditional comic version. And it's again really nicely painted. The teeth, the paint is clean. You still get those molded lines though through it. And then you get his bandana. The back tie piece is rubbery and a little longer on the comic version than it is on the stock version. And then you got Raph's looking growly and mean and grumpy. And see, there you go. You got that molded line in the top. Really cool head sculpts though. And then you got the figures. So what I'm going to do is show you how they articulate. So you got back to back. You got, it's on a nice ball joint, so you have a nice range of movement, even like forward and back. And it also, you gotta give it a good tug, but the head seems... Okay, Leo's came off a little easier. Come on. Okay, Raz doesn't seem to want to go. So, anyways, we'll go back to the rest of the articulation. So you got the shoulders, go up that much, then you got the bicep swivel, goes completely around, single jointed elbows, and they have like a nice click when you're posing them. You can feel it. I don't know if you can hear that. And then you got wrist swivel and or a wrist cut and then a swivel. For the legs, they have the thigh joint there. It's not really a thigh cut, but it twists at the thigh. Single jointed knees, which they snap to like the elbows do. And then you got some nice ankle pivot. And they move frontwards that far and backwards that far. And then you got to be careful because when you extend his legs out, you want to make sure you don't have it twisted in the wrong way when you go to put it back. Because the other thing I'm worried about over time is those pegs for the legs. They're pretty tiny. And if you have like your thigh swivel, or you have it twisted the wrong way and you go to bend it, you have a pretty good chance of snapping that little peg. And then you got some waist articulation there, which is nice. Not much, because the shell kind of hinders it a bit, right? But they used like a soft rubber for the front. The front shell anyways, the back shell is more sturdier. And then you got their symbols, which is nice, and this is a soft rubber. This size fit in there nicely. And then with the bandana, also soft rubber. And then Raph has this little backpack, like I believe the original one came with something similar to that, where you could throw that little weapon in the back there. And then Leo, I'll just show you without going over the articulation, because the articulation is similar in both. Their straps are different though. And this has like a shiny silver, where this doesn't. It has like more of like a dirty kind of silver. Right? And then the back, you got a place for his katanas to slide into. And the other little touch I liked is, like the old figures, you have, like, these are glued on, you can't pull these off. But if you had the original figures, you could pull these off, and as it's often when you find some used ones, they're often missing their belts, right? So you could pull these off at the tabs, and then in the front they would have a little tab sticking out of their name, where you could peel it off and pull their belts off. And again, same articulation, great head sculpt. It has like a kind of like a texture on its bandana there. And as I tried to show you with Raph, which I'll probably have to add some heat, is Leo's head pops off pretty easy. Right? And then you can pop the new one on. Which originally when I got these, I thought I was going to go with the more comic version, but no, I'm not sure. So I actually really like the more traditional turtle looking head now that I have them in hand. It's a little bigger too, but still, I don't know, they're both really cool. So yeah, I do have a few small gripes. Like I said, it's the same thing I found with the Super 7 Ren and Stimpy figures that I got, is you get those molding lines and the head sculpts, and you know, some of the accessories don't have as clean of lines, and yeah, I mean, it's a little disappointing, but aesthetically, I love these turtles. I love the way they look. They have like the more like traditional like TMNT figures that I first got when I was a young lad and was totally in love with them. Like the two series I loved the most action figure wise when I was a kid was Ninja Turtles and G.I. Joe. So I don't know, man, like if I had to pick between these and the cartoon NECA Turtles, I'd be hard pressed not to pick these. I love how they look. I mean, they're gorgeous. You know, they're sturdy. You know, I don't have to worry about them toppling over. Like, he's pretty sturdy. They're both pretty sturdy on their feet. Like, I didn't have to worry about trying to pose them or get them to stay held up. Like, they're like firmly planted. I mean, articulation-wise, you're not getting double-jointed elbows or knees, which limits it. But I don't know, like for me it's not a big deal. I'll pose them up and put them on the shelf. Occasionally I'll pull them off and pose them up again, but I don't know, like they don't need to be crazy posable. And other than like the joints at the legs that I'm worried about, like the rest of the pins and like the joints and stuff, like I didn't have to add any heat to these guys to get them and their joints to move, other than I might have to Raph's head to get it off if I plan on putting that comic version on there because it seemed to give me more of a hard time than Leo's did. But yeah, I mean, I really dig these figures. Yeah, I love them. They're awesome, and I can't wait to get the other two. I'm essentially gonna stay for like the NECA, like side characters, but on the shelf, I'm definitely gonna have these posed up and displayed with the rest of my cartoon turtle figures as well. So, yeah, I mean, other than the few things that I pointed out that I'm not a huge fan of, I still think they're pretty awesome figures, and they're great if you're a turtle fan. You don't want to sleep on these, especially now that they're starting to re-put out some of the first line of figures there now that they've re-released them. So there is no better time to get your hands on these. Alright, so here's the pair posed up with some accessories, and I'm I'm conflicted. I think they are fantastic representations of the original turtles I grew up with. They're, on that aspect, they're perfect. They're great. The articulation is decent, not great, but decent. I do worry about those, the T legs, like the T joints in the middle there snapping off, but if you overextend too much, or yeah, if you don't have them twisted in the right way. But I mean, for, you know, a simple basic pose, and as you can see, Raph, I got his head on. I had to heat it up a little bit and pop on the old one. But yeah, I think they're pretty awesome figures, but where the confliction comes into play is when you put these guys in here. And you got the NECA Leo and the NECA Raph. Ooh. And you got the NECA Leo and the NECA Raph in there. And yeah, the part that conflicts me is the cost of the Super 7 figures. Although I do believe they are the best representation of the turtles that I grew up with. I'm not a vintage collector, but I think they represent the idea of, you know, those original figures with some added posability and some paint apps, and yeah, I think they're great that way. But now you're looking at the price of a single one of these Super 7 figures is the same as a 2-pack of the NECA figures, which is where I am conflicted on recommending these over these guys, because you get twice as much bang for your buck with the NECA figures. They have great accessories too, and I don't mind spending a little more time, you know, if I have to heat up some of the joints on the NECA figures to get them to pose properly without breaking. I've never had a breakage issue with a NECA figure. I know there are people out there that have, but I personally have not yet, so I'm thankful for that. But these guys, essentially, other than, you know, I love them, I will definitely get the 4 turtles to add to my collection, so I will get Donnie and Mikey. But price-wise, for a line of these, you're looking at over $300 Canadian before shipping, which is a little crazy. You're selling a figure at a premium price, and, you know, for, you know, some of the mold lines that you see in them, which were terrible in their Super 7 Ren and Stimpy, some of the worst mold lines I've ever seen in a figure, and I paid $100 a piece for those. Yeah, like, outside of the 4 turtles, I can't see myself collecting the other characters. I will definitely be sticking to NECA, for the value that you get. You know, the 2-pack, like the Leatherhead and Slash figures, and the amount of accessories that they came with were just, you know, for that price point, were killer. And, you know, other than the 4 turtles. I can't really recommend them over the NECA turtles, but they're still pretty great figures, and I'm very happy to add at least the 4 turtles to my collection. Yeah, so that's it. You know what to do. Like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you get notified of videos as I put them out. And I wanted to put a special shout out to E-Collectibles for getting these figures to me in a very quick and safe fashion. They were well packaged, and the owner who I talked to over chat on Twitter was very helpful, very friendly, some of the best customer service I've ever had with an online vendor. And I will be leaving a link to their page down below. So that's it. I'm out of here.